Shadows of Dreams. Kay, what's up?
Oh, I'm excited. It's our first night.
I know it's our first night, and we've been talking about dreams throughout our shows and throughout the seasons, and now we finally are in a show where we can talk about the dreams and the levels of dreams and what these dreams mean and give you a
Yeah,
better understanding of what this means to you.
absolutely. I dreams have been a part of like what I've been doing since I could talk. That's how I got into this game. So like, no, this is like so exciting, especially the dreams that hold so much meaning to people
Yeah,
and lucid dreaming, things of that nature that people don't
that
get to talk about. Oh, I'm excited.
and getting the understanding of, because one thing means something for somebody in their dream doesn't necessarily mean it's the same thing in their dream.
Exactly.
And I mean, I've even had experiences where I've had dreams with people that I know, like even family members. And I do come from a very, very spiritual family. So having a dream that I had, and then my aunt had the same exact dream, and we could verbatimly communicate exactly what happened in that dream as she saw it and I saw it. And we knew exactly what the person said, what they were doing, what they were wearing, how it went down. It was very strange, but I was just like, that was one of my very beginning stages. I think I was like around the age of 9 that when I finally got to that type of experience.
Yeah.
And like my aunt and I like kind of jumped in each other's dreams and were like, what the hell is going on? And we could remember the conversation that we had with each other. So it was very interesting to have that type of communication. And that's what really put me down my path to learn dream interpretation. Now I learned, not only did I learn what I know from my family, but I also learned from a Native American family that I was hanging around and learning a lot of spiritual things, because after a certain age you go outside of the family to start learning knowledge that either comes
Mhm.
from a tribe or a coven or the Catholic religion. I mean, I've pretty much studied all the different religions
Aw,
just to get
just to
knowledge
be
and information.
here.
Yeah. And as you were younger, what was it, like 4? You're 4 years
Yeah,
old?
for
And
and I would see things all the time, and like I didn't know if they were dreams or not. So I had no idea, but I would always call it dreams. But then I learned that I was a dream empath, so just all kind of made sense.
right.
Course. But I would have like dreams, and I realized that like I could actually communicate in dreams, which people don't realize that you can have
Right.
control in your dreams. You just
Mhm.
have to know what you're doing. Um, but I mean, just kind of diving in more and wanting to understand what these things mean, I started researching as well. And just like you study a lot of different religions, I did too, especially whenever I got a little bit older, when I was like 17, 18, I really dived into different religions to see what they were and what they meant. And it's interesting how those even play an intricate part into our dreams too. There's so many more deeper meanings than what we oftentimes get to see or realize because we don't talk about
Mhm.
it enough.
Right. And in the dream states, that's how some, or I'm going to say most psychics start to awaken is in their dream state, because the mind is much quieter. And this
Mhm.
is where you've noticed where people are going, oh man, I have deja vu. I wonder where I've seen this
Yes.
before. In your dream state, you got that psychic message, but a lot of people, oh, that was just a dream.
Yeah, was shit. Yep.
And that is not what it was. So it's better to start understanding. And I always tell everybody to keep a dream journal. If you can't keep a dream journal with you, you have this amazing little device called the cell phone. It's got a record button, and you can make yourself a memo. I like to tell
Absolutely.
myself my dream and then go back to sleep. Now, I can fall back into a dream. I've done that numerous times.
I had
But
to.
there are people out there in the world who go, oh, I don't dream. Well, of course you do. But because you got the message in which you were getting and what you were receiving, you didn't have to remember it because subconsciously you absorbed the information. So it's not that you didn't dream, it's that remembering it in that way is no longer necessary because the message in which you were supposed to receive has been delivered. So
Right.
now it no longer needs to be in that dream state. It is now in a different form as a memory or, a thought pattern or a seeing of things. So guys, if you have any questions about your dreams, go ahead and start posting questions about dreams. We're going to try to get to as many of those as we possibly can. We may ask you a little bit deeper about some of these dreams. This is our first episode of our dream interpretation show, so it's in the shadow of dreams. I hope you guys like it. We're looking forward to talking to all of you, learning some things about your dreams. I will eventually talk about some of the dreams I've had and the experience that goes with it. I'm sure Kay is going to be providing us with lots of information, especially at a young age of 4 years old, and having these. You had a very spiritual awakening through your younger years, through your dreams, because it was the easiest way for you to receive that information until you started developing your gifts on a stronger basis.
Yeah.
We actually touched base about that on I Am Human on Monday at 6 p.m. So if you guys want to know a little bit more about Miss K here, guys, check out I Am Human. It aired Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern, and she goes over a lot of her path and what she's experienced as a psychic, and she actually touches base about the dreams and how those dreams awoken her to something bigger and something more.
Yes, it was a great show. Bunny is amazing. You guys should check it out.
Absolutely. And we're going to keep having more of these shows. Oh, well, thanks, Jasmine. I appreciate that. Says we both look amazing. I'm looking forward to seeing what people are getting in their dreams. And Kim says, what an awesome live. Thanks, guys. No problem, Kim. Thank you for being here. Now, we are going to start diving into some of these things and talking to you guys about them. We're going to have some shows where we're talking about lucid dreaming and all the different types of dream states. And, you could pick up a dream book and look up a lot of things, but that doesn't necessarily mean what's in that book represents what you're going through. So it really has a lot to do with the entire dream. And a lot of dreams, but people don't realize this because they don't think about it, but a lot of dreams are not in color. They're in black and white. But those who do dream in color, the colors they see, they stand out for a reason. So depending on if you're seeing a lot of yellows or if you're seeing a lot of blues. Now, not everybody dreams in black and white. I'm not going to say that you all do that because of the way that your mind works. So if you're more open spiritually, you're going to see more colors. If you are not someone who's so open to that, you will dream in black and white, but you won't realize it because that's not something you're thinking about. You're not thinking about it. It's almost like you're seeing your thoughts. You're seeing your subconscious. Your subconscious is giving you subliminal messaging in order to communicate with you. And it's kind of like hieroglyphics. How we see a bunch of images, but we don't see those as words, but the Egyptians did when they were reading it. So our mind does the same thing. It's something that we can relate to. What is this? I have a lot of people that talk about I had a loved one come to me in my dream. They passed away so many years ago. Was that them? Energy says, I dream in color. It's like having my own internal movie screen. And, well, Energy, that doesn't surprise me, young psychic one. But the thing is that we have to be accepting, and we grow. As we grow older, we learn that the Easter Bunny wasn't real. Santa Claus was a story. So we start to kind of move away from those types of energies because we feel that these are lies or it's just my imagination. It's not necessarily your imagination.
Yeah.
You got to be more open. So this show is going to be all about talking about those dreams, getting an understanding. But as I was saying about loved ones coming through, sometimes it's not about the person and it's not a direct message, even though we would love every time we dream of that person to be a direct message to us. It can also be, who was that person to you? When you think of that person, what is the first word that comes to mind? Funny, hilarious, troublemaker, whatever the case may be. So there's an association to something that's either playing a part in your life that you're not paying attention to, and we can dive in and find out what that means.
Yeah.
It's going
And
to be
I like to just get that small detail whenever you guys tell your dreams. I know it may not seem like much of things, but I hear people who say, "Oh, I had a dream and I was washing dishes." Well, were the dishes dirty? Were the dishes broken? Were the dishes on one side? Were they on the other? These small things actually do make a difference in what your dream could mean as well. So, if you guys do have those small details, they do mean something. So don't feel like you need to leave those out. Throw those things in.
in some of the smallest details, like you were just saying, like in the dream, were you sitting down? Were you standing up? Was it raining outside? Was it cold? Could you feel cold? Could you smell something in the air? All those small details that Kay was just talking about, they 100% mean something. And we can go down that road and find out what those are to help those dreams so you get a better understanding. That subliminal message that you were sending yourself, you get the chance to understand it. Right on. We've been talking about doing this show for a while, so we're really excited. We're cheesing from ear to ear. So let's
Waited
go
all
ahead.
day for this.
Exactly. All right, so let's go ahead and take the first question on our list here. Comes from Squirrel. She says, "This is a weird question. I
Of
often have
course.
dreams." Would there be any other? All right. I often have dreams where I either am not me or I'm a different version of me. These others in the dreams have memories of everything around them. Is this normal? Well, and have any studies been done on memories of dreams that do not actually belong to the person dreaming? Now, from my experience and understanding that I get that, when we do that, there are people who can dream jump. They can go into other people's dreams. As I was just explaining between me and my aunt, we were capable of having the same
Mhm.
dream, but it was from two different perspectives. But also, when we do that, we can also tap into some of our past life energies that are still stored within us. A lot of times we can't tap into those energies on a regular basis. Like we would have to get like a past live reading done. But some of us can actually, when we're in that meditative state of sleep, we can pick up and register on those past life energies. We can tap into that database that we're not supposed to be able to get into, but yet we can touch it. What were you going to say on that?
I wanted to see her dream pop back up on the screen because I wanted to make sure whenever she was saying that she sees herself, different versions of herself. So that really
Mm-hmm.
stuck out to me because a lot of times when you're seeing like a different version of you that's like playing out, that can mean that you haven't found a certain level of your voice yet. So you're almost seeing yourself play out in these different scenarios. Um, Not in a way of like identity crisis, right? But your subconscious playing out different roles, different ways things are going to pan out for you. It also sticks out to me too, because this can indicate that there may be things changing in your life. And so you're trying to like catch up to your life changing. So I would say it will be interesting to see what's going on in your life here now that is causing your mind to kind of spin. And also, what scenarios are you playing out? Like what's going on deeper in the dream? Like what exact things are happening around you? So that's kind of interesting. That's what I picked up there, though.
Absolutely. And it's just many different ways to interpret. So we would need to know the dream specifics in order to go deeper into that.
Yeah.
So to know how long ago was this dream? Was this a dream that's something that keeps reoccurring? And, is it one that was many years ago? And just like you said, what was going on at the time when you had the dream? She goes, "Thank you both. They are many dreams."
Yeah. Yeah. Try to get if you can, next time you have the dream. And just like Journey said, it really makes a difference, guys. When you write down, when you wake up in the morning, or even if you send yourself a voice note, send yourself a text and leave it on a note screen, whatever it is, because what isn't standing out now, like, because a lot of times you're not going to remember everything. And you may even come back later and add things to that note that you put. But it's really interesting that you're seeing different versions of yourself. That's kind of telling right journey, I'm like, that's kind of big.
I wanted to know if she was tapping into her past life self too, because there's a capability of tapping into a past life. If you are, as you were saying, living in a certain moment, is this a moment that you've lived before and
Mhm.
your self trying to warn you or tell you that you're falling down the same pattern you've already been on?
Mm.
You've already been on this path. So let me show you what you went through. So is she picking this up psychically to give her a message to say, hey, this worked out well for you, or was it bad for you? She goes, weird things like where I got bleh, like where I got that mirror I never saw before. Okay. I'm assuming we're talking about the hallway mirror. I'm, I got a hallway mirror that I know about.
She said,
And she put, no, it's not about that. Guys, this is a dream interpretation show. So if you have anything about dreams, be more than happy to answer your questions on that. But if it's not within the dream, we are going to pass you on to the next show. That's going to be tomorrow. So I think, what time is that show?
there's so many.
There's so many new ones. I gotta make sure it's down the rabbit hole with Bunny
With
Sugars.
Bunny.
Yes, it is with Bunny tomorrow. So if you guys have any questions, but My Psychic Connection does not do medical or legal questions. So pregnancy is considered a medical question. So if we could keep that on task. She says, a hand mirror on a dresser I never saw before. So this is actually in the dream, not in real life. And like in physical life. I don't want to think real life. She goes, but it was mine. It's weird. All my dreams have memories with them that aren't mine. I was hoping that was
You're
normal.
definitely diving into past lives, and she's
See,
definitely
she's
you're tapping
recognized.
into your other side, and you're not even like you can get aligned with your dreams. There's just small things, like I tell people to try to grasp onto something that's around you, to hold, like for me, I need feelings of things, so I have a lot of pillows on my bed, so I know whenever I'm dreaming and there's something I really want to get a part of, like I'll squeeze onto that. I tell certain people to use certain clear quartz or selenite, things like that, so that it can help them kind of ground a bit. But I feel like you're definitely hopping in and out, definitely hopping in and out of different lives you may have had, which is why you're finding things that are very familiar. Mirrors are huge, especially in dreams. What are you reflecting back in? Also, when you're seeing things in different eras, because that kind of sounds like what you're saying too, like these are time frames that you don't even, they just don't, they're not even they're your memories, but they're not yours. You're tapping into things. I would say it might be a good idea for you to dive into the Akashic records, because that may be able to help you get a little bit deeper into where these lives are that you're having. All right.
Absolutely. And when it comes, and she put yes. So when it comes to this as well, this is something that I would want you to recognize, as we were talking about psychics who tap into their abilities through their dream state and how it starts for them. If you are capable of jumping into your past lives, you have and possess the ability to help those that want past lives read to them. You definitely have the capability of doing so. It's about tapping into that potential and allowing yourself to have the pleasure of reading for them. And not only does it bring them such an amazing piece and a better understanding, because they're going to understand what you're talking about when it comes to this, but it's going to bring you peace of mind and help you understand some of the other dreams that you've had yourself about your own past lives. So I would honestly start studying a little bit more about past lives and how to bring that side to the surface. I really feel like subconsciously you're telling yourself, I can do it, but you're not trusting yourself to do it. And she put, oh, that is cool. It is cool. I mean, it's absolutely amazing. So that's really cool. I was able to jump into past lives I do it different ways, but that is something that we're going to be bringing forth here soon as past lives on this show. So we're going to
Really fun.
dive into those too. But yeah, I mean, dreams are they tell a lot. They explain a lot. It's understanding them, which is a little bit harder because we see things, we know what certain things mean, but subconsciously they don't mean the same thing. It's symbolism.
Yeah.
Squirrel says, "Thank you both so much. You are so welcome, Squirrel. Thank you for that was a really good question.
That was good. Oh, I'm like, if this is what it's like all night.
Let's get into that good juicy stuff. Let's do it. All right. So with that, guys, if you got something about a dream you would like to know about, we're going to more than likely ask you a few more questions about it so we can get a better understanding, so we can present what you need to understand about this dream to the surface to give you a better understanding for yourself, so you can finally absorb what you've been trying to tell yourself all this time. All right. So we're going to take our next question, and I'm going to let Kay read this one.
All right, we got Rebecca. Rebecca says, "Hi guys. I've had a lot of dreams about my teeth crumbling out of my mouth. It always terrifies me. What could this mean? Thank you." Oh, the forever teeth crumbling. Added detail to my dream. I'm usually looking into the mirror. Okay. Well, first off, I would say there might be some things that you are feeling very anxious about. There may be some things that you may be needing. Oh, I feel a little echo. There may be some things that you may be needing to work out or work through in your present life. What is happening around you? When we have teeth that are crumbling, a lot of times in dreams or anything's a teeth, what happens whenever that's your appearance, right? How people see you or how they perceive you. And when you don't feel good about yourself, you get those anxieties. No less, this can also indicate that there may be some things that are going on in your life that are causing increased anxiety. And sometimes, it's not all the time, but sometimes this can also indicate that there could be medical related issues that could be going on with you as well, that haven't fully presented themselves. So I would be interested to see if amongst just the teeth crumbling in the mirror, what is happening around you? What were the events before? Are you only just dreaming that the teeth are falling out? What are you wearing? Is there anything like some sort of event that you feel like is coming up that you're looking? Do you have makeup on? Like what all also comes into that? Because that is a little bit, Rebecca says, I'm always being misunderstood. So that makes sense. So, but with those teeth, it could be a whole lot more, but that anxiety of things can really be eating at you. And be mindful that you have the power to take control of your life. Your subconscious will eat at you if you don't do something with it. Okay. All right. I'll pass you over to Journey.
So also with that, in the way I'm seeing it, when you're looking at this, what you're saying is a mirror. Is it a mirror or is it a doorway? Is the mirror hard? Can you pass through it? It's something that you need to, if you have this, you have this dream again, you can test those limits there. She goes, and oddly, I do have medical diagnoses that actually made me lose a lot of teeth. So when it came down to the teeth for me in this, and the way I was picking up, and this, what I can, is that you put a lot of pressure on yourself. You put a lot of pressure on yourself. It's how you are seeing yourself, as if other people were seeing the same thing. It's not what people are seeing, it's what you're seeing. So it plays off of what Kay just said to you. It's you putting a lot of this, it's a reflection of yourself, hence the mirror. And she put, so true. So you've got a mirror, you're seeing a reflection of yourself. This is the way you think people see you, but it is not. This is the way that you are beating yourself up. It's a subconscious beating up. You're beating yourself down. So it's those anxieties. It's all those different pressures you're putting on yourself. So there's got to be a way to touch the mirror the next time. Wipe the mirror. And I know that sounds silly, And this is where you're taking control, as again, Kay just mentioned. Kind of feel like I'm repeating everything Kay said, but that's the reason we're going back and forth with this. So, but the thing is that, touch it, watch the image change. It will not stay the same. And by doing so, you're taking control of the dream. By taking control of the dream, you'll also take control of the thought. The image will change, and so will the attitude and the feelings in which it comes with it. So the next time that dream, because this does feel like it's reoccurring, and it happens in different ways. It's not always your teeth, it's other things. She goes, I'm going to try that. Absolutely. I suggest trying it because you want to take control of that, because this is something that you're putting on yourself. It's not what others see of you. It's what you see of yourself. And that's why the mirror plays a big part, because it's a reflection of yourself to yourself. There's nobody else in the mirror. There's no one else standing around. There's no one judging you but you.
Ooh, that hit.
All right, got it. Nailed it. Check. Thank you, Rebecca. She says, thank you guys so much. You are so welcome, sweetheart. Guys, dreams play a big part of who we are. There have been multiple studies about people who don't get to that realm of sleep where they actually dream. Their stress levels go up, their blood pressure goes up. We cannot function as people without having these dreams. And that's why I said everybody dreams, because if you didn't, you'd be crazy. You would go insane. And those are real studies. They've done cases about it. That's why sleep is so important. It doesn't just affect, your mental state. It affects your physical health. Your body will start shutting down.
I have watched the most interesting documentaries and studies and things. There was actually a guy who couldn't like fully fall asleep. Like he would sleep, but he wouldn't go into deep sleep, REM sleep.
Yeah.
And he actually was like sleepwalk, and he like committed an actual crime. Like he had no idea he did it. He didn't know, like he couldn't be held responsible for it, because they actually ended up having to study him. And he had been complaining for years and years about his sleep and how he never quite felt like he was sleeping, or there would be things, they set up cameras around his house. So, I mean, dreams and sleeping and your body, everything reacts and goes off of each other. And if you do find yourself struggling or you're not sleeping in the right ways, that's when we say definitely go get checked out. Like definitely utilize that, because you never know.
Exactly. And I've had days where the psychic energy is so thick that I've had trouble sleeping because I couldn't shut it off. So, that's why meditation plays a big part, and even when I tell people you can meditate before you go to sleep, you'll actually find yourself getting a deeper sleep, meditating 15 minutes before you actually close your eyes to rest for the night. Mm-hmm. And I always suggest people get at least 5 hours of sleep. I know it's recommended 8 hours, 7 to 8 hours of sleep. And for those of you who are younger, 12 hours of sleep is actually good for you. It's actually better for our human growth and development to have those 12 hours of sleep as a younger child. So you find, like, you always heard your parents say when you were like in your early teens, you're so lazy because you slept all the time. It's actually, they need it. They're processing more information, and the electronic pulses in our brains. There's more going on at a younger age than there is as we go as adults.
You can learn in your sleep, everyone. Like, that's such a thing. Learn in your sleep. You can.
Squirrel needs 36 hours of sleep a day. I don't know. She must be living on Jupiter. She's living on Jupiter. She's like, I like it here. The days are longer, and that means I get more sleep. Or it could be Venus. It takes a really long time for Venus to turn completely away from the sun. So that's a long ass day, girl.
That's too long of a day. I don't need that many hours in a day. 24 is enough.
Kind of sleep when I'm on the other side. But I love it. You know, a lot of things when it comes to sleep just depends. You know, each person needs a certain type of amount of sleep in order to function correctly. Energy says my sister learned how to
Speak French.
Okay, I was like, Soki? Soki, yeah. In French in her sleep. Yeah, it's definitely something you can do. You hear people who listen to, well, back in the day it used to be tapes. Now it's MP3s or Spotify or whatever. Yeah, I know. I'm like,
I remember my big old cassette tape.
Exactly, my big ass headphones. It looks like I had two tires on the side of my head.
I used to have to listen to the radio and pause and play.
That's my song. Literally, real mixtape. But yeah, we can listen to those things. I actually used to fall asleep to like radio talk networks and listen to these big talks about spiritualism or just many different topics. I just picked spiritualism, but I learned so much while I was sleeping because I don't remember it while I was awake to hear that, but I learned it while I was asleep while these people were talking to me. The subliminal messaging, you find that in commercials nowadays. You find it in TV shows. You find it in music. I think they call them Easter eggs now. They're not.
Is that what it is now?
It's called. I know. I'm trying to catch up with the times here, but yeah, no. I mean, there's a message behind a lot of things, and we're just now realizing that we can find them and spot them, and that's what our dreams are like: spotting the message and understanding it. Once you understand the message, you no longer have to have the dream anymore because the message has been received. Now, though, when it comes to that, these messages, if we got the memo, but we didn't react or act in the way that we were supposed to, we will have that dream reoccur.
Yep.
Because we got the message, but we didn't accept the message. So we're like, I know this candle burns my fingers, but I'm going to touch the fire one more time just to make sure.
Like, you're gonna flat out, that's how I learned. Seriously, that's how I learned to accept my dreams. Because, like, okay, again, like I was like 4 whenever I started having dreams. And then, like, I would tell my family and they wouldn't always believe me. And we were like, what the heck? And then they would just keep coming because I'm like pushing it away. No, that's not it. And it would just keep coming. And then like one day I was like, maybe if I just say, okay, this is gonna happen, it'll stop. And whoa, just voila, it stopped.
Exactly. Once you take in that message, everything's good. Let's go ahead and take another question. Who do we got next?
I'm excited.
Love these. Oh, we got energy. It says I dreamt I was trapped in a coffin in complete darkness and screaming for help. It was so scary that my husband heard me yelling help and had to wake me up. Still trying to phantom it, or I'm assuming trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
So the thing about that, I would need to know a little bit more information. How to go with that. When you think of a coffin, what does that represent? What's the first thing that's coming to mind when you think coffin? I need to know, but to me, this feels as though like she wasn't listening to her inner self and she was dying inside. That's what I was picking up from what little information. So it was like not allowing to speak her voice, not saying what she wanted to say, and just continuously doing what everybody else had wanted. And every time that it was happening, she was putting a little piece of herself. She goes, it was 3 months ago. I felt trapped and confined. Yeah. And she wasn't speaking her mind. That's what I was getting from that little bit of information. And fear of suffocation.
Were all you seeing what? So you weren't seeing anything inside the coffin. Was it just a black? Were you just seeing black? Because the way you're describing it, uh, to me, this is an indication that you see nothing else, right? But when you think of a coffin, the inside of a coffin is actually beautifully lined. It's not an entirely scary situation. So this is why I asked this, because that may be more so on the level of you were what Journey was just saying, or maybe
Ha!
something that you're not facing. There's something you're not facing, or something that's not that you're not that you and you said it was 3 months ago. So what was pivotal in that time? What was going on in your life that you felt like you had no control over? Um, if you're a person who craves control or needs stability, when you feel out of control, you're going to be out of control of your scenario inside of your dream. Well, if you're buried, if you're in a coffin, right? If you're deep down under, you're assuming you can't get out and no one can see you or hear you or feel you or help you. You even screamed out, you said you screamed out for help. And that is big too, because someone else actually heard you verbalizing something. So this wasn't just you and your dream screaming, you were there in your present life. So you were asking, you're physically asking for that grounding. So when you're having these dreams of confinement, I would say look around your present situation, your present day, what's going on, and what are you feeling out of control of? What are you feeling is spiraling out? There you'll find your answer.
Also, having the ability to, I feel as though rather than verbalizing her feelings in certain scenarios, not having that person to bounce or just to vent to is another form of that coffin. Like she
Mm.
was creating her own internal. She goes, "Yeah, I saw the black, then flipped that I was looking inside the coffin at the same time."
Oh, she was looking back down at herself, Journey. Oh, she was her own mirror.
Yeah, she was. It's almost like
Oh.
astral projecting out of your own self just to see yourself, see you how you've trapped yourself. It definitely needs to be a time where you were going through a period where you wanted to vocalize, but you stopped yourself. You put yourself in that coffin.
Mhm.
You were watching to see if you could get yourself out. You weren't look. You needed help, so you verbalized the word help, but you didn't actually ask anybody for help. She says, "Yeah, it was me looking out and then looking back again." Exactly,
Mm.
because you were in two places at the same time. That's the astral projecting outside of yourself to see yourself. How do I save myself? Because your mind was telling you you need to save yourself. You are the only one that can do it. You believe that only you can save you. But when it comes down to it, and communicating with someone like a priest or a spiritual advisor or someone that you can confide in about certain scenarios that that are trusted just between you and the other person, that it's not going to go out to the entire world. You need to be able to have an outlet, even if it's writing in a journal. But even writing in journals, the fear of someone picking it up, you hold yourself to a certain standard, and you would hate for anybody to see you anything else but the standard that you want to present. So if anyone sees any type of weakness, it makes you feel, that's very Leo of you, by the way. It makes you feel uh, very, it just brings you down. It tears you down. You don't want people to see you. You don't want people to see you cry. You don't want people to see you emotional. You want to be structured. But there's a thing about being structured and then being over structured, and the overstructure can tear you up inside. She goes, "Yeah, I'm a very private person, but my personal life, I feel I always have to be strong. Even the strongest cry, even the strongest feel. It doesn't mean you are weak. Those, and you might hate me for this, but I'm about to say to you something I learned along my path because I felt the same way and I have structured myself in the same way. When you hold in everything, you are not strong, you are weak, because you are so afraid to let anything show that it could possibly be used against you. Don't let that control you. If you can break that, this coffin will shatter. You will reconnect with yourself and you will free yourself in this dream. But you have to find someone you can confide in. Like I said, a spiritual advisor, a priest, depending on your religion. A very, very good friend that you've known for 20 years that you guys can have these conversations and that person can relate. But you need a person who's going to allow you to communicate. You have to be able to vent. Because if you don't, you're going to find yourself in that coffin. And the thing is something that you haven't mentioned, but I kind of feel that each time you add to that confiding energy, you're going deeper and deeper into the darkness. So it's getting harder and harder to see yourself because you're losing yourself because you're trapping everything inside yourself. So something you might want to look into about bringing things to the surface so that coffin can rise back up and you're capable of not having to see yourself from a distance. She put, yes, that makes sense. But therapy it's an amazing tool. So, never be afraid to have therapy. Never be afraid to talk to your spiritual advisor, whether it be a priest, a psychic, a rabbi, and depending on your religion, how you want to practice. It could be your high priestess if you're a witch practitioner. There are many ways to at least confide in one person in order to build yourself back up, because the world was not meant for you to take on by yourself. You're here for the experience.
There's a quote that I just seen that was on here. Well, Energy says, thank you so much. But there was a quote I seen, even concrete cracks. And yes, seriously, you have to cut yourself a break. None of us are perfect. I think that went so well with, you guys know I love a quote. That went so well with what Jerry said. You see me itch for it.
Exactly. And I feel as though that we beat ourselves up because we are always trained to believe certain things, or we want to represent ourselves in a certain way to always be the strong one. You don't always have to be what you consider what is strong, because those who don't speak are weak. It's the only way to make change is to say or speak it. You don't make change by not saying anything.
Exactly.
Change was never created when no one spoke a word. Every fight, everything that's ever been done in this world is because someone spoke up. And then people caught up. So speak up. Allow yourself to breathe. Allow yourself to feel free. And that way you don't feel confined, and that dream will go away. Hopefully that brings you a little bit of peace so you can help.
Yes.
Yourself from that dream, because nobody wants to wake up in a dream in a coffin and then
that's not a good time.
No, I had better time watching the opening to this show than have to go through that. That would
suck. Oh man.
Everybody has has to let things out. Like a container, you can only put so much pressure in it before it explodes.
Yep.
If there's not a release valve, the only thing it's going to do is explode. And what happens when that explosion? What's the effect of the explosion? What happens? That's the question you got to ask yourself. If I explode, or if I lose myself, what is left? She says, things have been improving since the dream, and I'm opening up more, and my personal stuff. Good. Nice. Allow yourself to depressurize. It is perfectly okay. By you allowing yourself to be more open, you get stronger with every.
Curious if your dreams are brighter now. Like, what have your dreams been like after that dream? That would be really interesting, because that one, a lot of times we talk about the scary ones, right? The ones that are, But what did you have after that? That may be something huge too, because that can let you know if you're coming out of it, you know?
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So
These are
let's
some
go
good
ahead.
dreams.
I know. I'm so excited. This is a good
No
first
duds so
step
far. No
towards it.
duds.
Exactly. Let's keep them impressing. All right. And then and take our next one. We're like, Kay, jump on that one.
All right. We have Audie Naki. Dude, you wanted to give me the funny name. Okay. I often dream that I am being chased, though I'm able to run and even develop on the fly powers, throwing huge things, climbing, etc. I can never seem to outrun or shake them off. What could this imply? Oh, okay. I love this one. Okay, superhuman powers. This is a common dream. Common. Superhuman powers are oftentimes someone needing to assert more dominance in their life. So when we think of superheroes, right, we think of people who save us from something, right? And you're getting superhuman strength, you're getting superhuman abilities. So it's like, I'm finally going to be able to be in control over something. I'm going to have that sense of dominance. But you're not able to outrun because you mentioned too that like it's like you're running from something, but it's still seeming to kind of catch up, right? But that could be you avoiding something that's right in front of your face. What are and this goes back to kind of those anxieties. What is it that you're avoiding in your life that is chasing after you? I'm sure Journey's going to regurgitate this too, as I say, like there's some things. It says they always seem to develop in response to the danger, and said dangers always keep pace but never catching me. Okay, so again, like these things are there. You know that I almost want to say, you know that there's pressures, there may be the anxieties. I wonder how you are in your day to day. Do you have a huge social circle, or do you have a small select few? What is it like? What is it like when you are outside of your comfort zone? Because all of this is very, one, the fact that that's recurring, in that these things are continuously chasing, they're continuously coming, they're not stopping. What haven't you faced in your life, for one? Two, what is making you feel kind of out of control? What maybe have changed in your life? He says, Audie Knocker says, I can only really talk to my parents for the past few years outside of internet friends. Okay, so that makes a lot of sense right there, right? You have this small crowd, you're not really knowing what it's like on the outside. This may be a time where you do need to, and that's not to say go and run off and do it tomorrow. Slowly start to incorporate the outside world in. It'll help build your confidence up. It'll start giving you that personal power, because again, that superhuman power is huge. Whenever people dream of that, I normally say that's not a coincidence. There's something that you're trying to grasp or hold on to. Even the powers that you may have. I believe, can I get the first initial question back up there? Because I believe the initial one was flying, right? So flying, you're able to see everything that's around you, but nothing can quite touch you. Whenever you're able to pick up huge things, you're able to carry more of a load than what you are in your present day life, right? So you're able to climb, you're able to get higher. Again, these are things you're being able to be above people versus being surrounded by them. You're above where people can't touch you. So these are things that you're trying to almost, it's like correlate from your regular life into your dream life. But now, even still, you're not able to face some of these things. So now it's a time to start looking those devils in the eye, start bringing that personal power up. And I'm sure that this dream will change. You'll actually be able to outrun these things completely. They won't be there anymore. Actually, I don't even feel like you'll be running. You'll be able to face it dead on. You'll be able to use those superhuman powers against it. I feel like just kind of a change of your mindset in your day to day may actually help also in that dream realm. So I'll pass over to Journey.
Okay, as is she was talking about the flying ability and being above it all and being able to see and observe everything, and that where no one can touch you. As you said, besides your parents, internet, that's your flying power. You're flying above it all. No one can touch you. Adanaki says, hopefully there is a pretty big change in my life coming up that'll allow me to get out more, and hopefully that will help. I do feel like that'll help, and I can't really fly. I meant it developed suddenly, but I can jump. Okay. So even jumping hurdles and doing things like that. But what is the main thing when you watch a superhero movie or if you read a superhero comic, what is the first thing when they are not being the superhero, when they go to blend in with everybody else? What are they? They're a part of the furniture. They are not seen. They just blend in so well, like a chameleon. I'm here, but you don't realize I'm here. But when I'm the superhero, you respect me, but at the same time, you could never really be yourself around everyone else as the superhero because no one would see wouldn't see you. Yeah, Igor says, oh yeah. But the thing is that so you are trying to blend in as furniture. You're not allowing yourself to stand out. It's okay for you to have these powers. It's okay for you to be different. You just have to find the niche of people that accept you for who you are, what you are, and how you are. That's the biggest hurdle that anybody could ever try to overcome. I always feel like I'm going under everybody's radar, but also my own tendency to fawn over people, kind of. Okay, so with that feeling, again, we're going back into being the chameleon. You know, you like other people, but you fall under the radar because you're blending in with the furniture. At this time, what are you? You're the chair in the living room. Everybody knows that's there. They use it when they need it, but that's it. There's more purpose to it because let's say you got a room and it's empty, you put something in it. Now you're absorbing some of the sound. You're a part of something. You're something that's visual, also something they can rely on. They can sit down. They don't have to stand up. There's a lot of things that you as a person are missing out because you're afraid to be yourself, because you're afraid of what people are going to think. You know what? Their opinions are like assholes and everybody's got one. Some of them are clean, some of them are dirty, some of them stink, some of them, you know, they do a lot of different things, girl. I'm tell you. So let me just say this to you. Don't be afraid to be you. Be strong in the sense of your superhuman strength, your ability to jump hurdles because you can see them coming. Like a fear of not being useful enough for people, I guess, laugh out loud. And laugh my ass off, true. But the thing is that just like you said, not being useful enough for people. When do you become useful enough for yourself? When do you realize that you are put here for a reason and that the people who do connect with you, it seems more to me that you have more genuine friends than you do acquaintances. And that I would take over anything, is to have those genuine people in my life rather than those fake ass people that mean nothing to you. They mean something to somebody else, but in this case, we are not meant to be with everybody. That's true, yeah. But you have a purpose. It's finding that purpose. Your superhuman strength, use that in your everyday life because you would actually be more liked than you realize. Just because you do things differently doesn't mean that there isn't somebody out there that sees the same view you do. You guys just haven't met yet. There's a lot of people, like when I was younger, when I was developing my psychic gifts, I thought at that time everybody could do it. Scaring my kindergarten teacher, I realized that everybody can't do it. And so, but then it made me different. It made me unique, but it did not stop me from being who I am. It did take me time to redevelop that because people were like, ew, you're weird. What the hell? How do you do that? And then it just became to a point, it was happening so often that people were like, oh, that's just Journey. You want to know something? That fool knows it. Here's hoping we cross paths and I can get away from those dream forces then. Absolutely. But you got to believe in yourself. That's where it starts. Believing in yourself. You're not a part of the furniture. You're actually something where people do see you as useful. As I said, if you're the only chair in the room, you're not only just a place to sit, you're a place to absorb sounds, you're a place to allow people to talk. When people sit, they'll talk out loud. If they're by themselves, they will sit with that chair and they will talk out loud. They will have thoughts. You are a sounding board for them. You can be that same sounding board for yourself. You just got to believe that the powers that you possess are useful in other ways, not quite the same way you think they are. Stop reflecting what you feel onto the world and let the world give you what it has to offer so you can become a part of that world and find your place. Because the world's waiting. They're just waiting on you.
That's beautiful.
The world is waiting.
Write you a quote book.
And it says, damn, thank you guys. You are so welcome. Thank you so much for that dream. And you know, I have dreams too, and we'll get into those this week. And I'm sure you got some dreams you'd like to share. But
boy, do I.
We're already almost, the show's almost over.
I can't believe that was really quick.
I know. We dived in and I was like, holy shit,
we just took a bite of the sandwich and it's over.
I just got done putting the mayonnaise on it. It's very Caucasian of me. This has been a really cool show. Thank you so much. I'm glad you liked it. And guys, don't worry, there's more to come. We've got more dreams to get through. I just want you guys to know that we're going to try to tap into everything, and everybody will get their chance to sit and have dream talks with us, as we not only just talk about our own experiences, but help you guys with your experiences. And Kay, did you want to say anything before we get going?
I don't know. I'm just excited to see everyone again.
I'm so excited to see how great this was. This is our very first dream interpretation show. Now I did a dream interpretation show, but it was like almost 7 years ago.
Oh my.
Since, because I've had so many other things going on.
We're back at it again.
I know. I was so excited that somebody wanted to join me and talk to me, talk with me, because we've learned our own ways. And even though a few things may be different at the end after explaining them, or it's what seems like it's different, actually comes together as the same exact thing.
It was like we never done this together, guys.
No, we've never done this. This is our very first try doing this together. I wanted to see how
we could read dreams.
But this has been amazing, and I've
this is so great.
I could go on. I don't know. The next show might be 2 hours long because we flew through this.
It's like we still had more.
Igor says y'all are great together. Thank you so much. And we couldn't do this without you guys. We do appreciate everyone being here tonight. And guys, do know that we are going to try to, I'm sure we'll have to, we didn't even discuss the show beforehand. We were just like, you want to do dream interpretations? You're like, let's do it. And then boom, here we are. This is the result, guys. I hope you guys like it. There's more to come, guys. Make sure you guys tune in tomorrow night, 6 p.m. Eastern, for Bunny Sugars. Woo, woo. And then we have another new show tomorrow night, 8 p.m. It's Astrology Breakdown with Journey Ryan and Squirrel. And then we've got Whispers from the Forest, and then Journey Ryan live at midnight. So guys, make sure you're tuning into all those beautiful shows tomorrow. We're going to have a great night. I'm pretty sure I'm not going to be able to go to sleep right away now, because this show really
now we're jacked up.
Because now I'm like, oh, the dreams. I know what's going to happen is things that people have said, and then I'm going to go, oh my God, and this also meant this. I wonder if they saw this. I know how my mind works, that damn Virgo energy. 4 planets in Virgo. It just makes me overthink. So, but that is the alarm going off right now. It's not really a alarm for the show. It just goes off every night at 1 a.m. I don't know why. It's been doing it for years. I just let it happen. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for being here. Kay, this has been a blast.
Yes, and we'll see them in Dreamland.
We'll see you guys in Dreamland. This is Journey and Kay signing out. Have a great night, everybody. We'll see you next, technically Wednesday morning. Bye, everybody.